as we start to travel through the garden gates with the WSU Mason County Master Gardeners, a nonprofit organization that helps out a lot of folks in our community making and beautifying their yards around our community. And nonprofits are welcome to come on the air thanks to Peninsula Credit Union. We have Erica and Mary on the air with us this morning. Good morning, y'all. How you doing?
Really good.
Good to see you again. And this upcoming Saturday is the first of 6 in the gardening workshops, which we've talked about over the last couple of years. It's at Public Works. $5 is the cost at the door, and it's a 3-hour program. Starts at 9, goes until noon. And looking at the listing of what you have to offer this year, there's some really fascinating conversations that a lot of folks, whether or not they're indoors or outdoors or more vegetables or more floral, they all can get some good information. So tell us a little bit about maybe the background of these. So they've been going on for a long time, and how we get to where we're at with this upcoming Saturdays.
Well, they have been going on. I'm not sure what year they started, but it's been something, for quite some time.
Yeah.
We've been having these. And kind of every year we look and see, what's been done the last few years, and then we try to bring new things in. We always try to have something on vegetable gardening because the community is so interested in growing vegetables. So that's one that we always try to include. Our first one this year is going to be on great plant picks. So it's going to be annuals and perennials and shrubs that you could use to highlight your garden. So looking at, and then information about like what sort of sites they do best in, but just some really good stuff like that.
So are these like more native plants that would be well for our area, or just the variety of what you can find locally and where maybe you can plant them?
Some are native and some are non-native. Some are just more the ornamentals, but there are some natives.
We will have a program on native plants, so later in the
series for sure. We'll share this page on our Facebook page, and we'll put the calendar up on our front window here by the Radio Ranch as well. So Great Plant Picks is first, and then Keep It Growing is another one. And so these other ones too. So this upcoming January 11th, Saturday, this isn't necessarily we're going to go out and buy these now, right? This is going to be write these down, have a list, and ready to go as we move through into the spring.
Yeah.
So then the next one, Keep It Growing, what are we looking at here?
Well, we've got, it starts out, there's one of the sessions will be on propagation, so how to propagate your own plant. So if there's a shrub that one of your friends has or some plant that, you could then get part of that and plant it in your own yard.
Oh, fascinating.
So kind of a way to save money, but also if there's something that's particularly beautiful, a way to get that.
So like a clipping from somebody's rose bush or something that you can then turn in.
And then there's following that is the next session will be on seed saving. So how to go out at the end of the season as your vegetables or flowers have produced seeds, how to collect them and save them, and then use them again next year.
So when we talk about the big variety of tomato plants that we have in Mason County, I feel like 30 is maybe a number I've heard over the years, different types of varieties of tomatoes. Is that where the seed saving, is that where people start to kind of, I don't know, mix seeds together to create newer things? Or how did we get to a point where Mason County can sustain 30 or so different types of tomatoes? Is it through this type of activity, seed saving, or what?
I don't think that people are hybridizing plants. That's kind of a specialty.
Okay.
But there certainly are a lot of varieties out there, and if you're growing an heirloom type tomato plant, you can save the seeds from that and grow that. Some of the hybridized plants cannot, the seed doesn't come back true to that plant.
Oh, yeah.
So you get a tomato, it just won't be the tomato you want.
Would you encourage folks, if they do heirloom varieties of anything really, but especially the tomatoes, to collect those seeds with whatever's left over to kind of continue that going?
Yeah, tomatoes are especially fun to do because you have to, when they fall on the ground, they ferment. And then that must break down the shell, and then the plant starts from that. Well, you have to do that. You have to ferment the tomato seed, and then once it's fermented, then it's ready to be planted.
Wow.
So
fascinating.
Yeah, it
really
is.
The next one comes at the 1st of February on the 8th, and this is pollinator-friendly gardens, native plants, and vegetation for stabilizing winter bluffs and things like that. So this is kind of a, I don't want to say a holistic kind of one, but this is a way to have your pollinator-friendly plants so the bees know to come to your house and make beautiful gardens. So what are some other things that we'll learn in that one coming up?
That one is going to be kind of looking at there's a few bees that we'll be looking at. So before you can build your pollinator-friendly garden, you need to know a bit about who the pollinators are, what is it that they want out of a garden. So it's giving you that information, and then from there, going through what are the types of plants that they are looking for.
Because it's not just having a male on one side of the yard and a female on the other side of the yard, and the bees go back and
For
forth for
cross-pollination.
that kind of stuff, right?
No.
It's a little more complicated.
But that is part of it. There is a section on cross-pollination.
Okay.
It doesn't work that way?
It doesn't work that way.
gosh.
But our bees are really in decline, and so it's a way,
Yeah.
in a way, to do something for the bees too.
Is that still happening? The bees are still
Yes, they
Yes,
are.
the
decline?
bees are
Yeah.
definitely in decline. There's a lot of things that are going on that are causing the decline.
One thing as we move through February is always a very important topic for folks, and that is how the fires, as we've seen over the last couple of years, not so much this past summer, but the previous couple summers, we were hit just terrible with some fires. And so fire-wise landscaping and DIY drip irrigation, which are two great topics to talk about.
Yes, this one we actually had scheduled for last year, and we had that terrible snowstorm and we had to cancel it. So our speakers have been kind enough to come back, because I think this is a very important one for us to be putting out there for people, because we do seem to be in a changing climate.
And so when it comes to one of the topics, plant choices for a warmer future, that wouldn't necessarily tell me that they are native plants, because if it's a native plant, they've been traditional,
That's right.
used to what we've had.
That's right. Yeah. So I understand that some of the lumber companies are planting pines now, as opposed to Douglas fir and cedar and those trees. So that tells you something.
Sure.
Pine
Yeah.
can take a lot more, extreme weather.
They actually, pines have many of them have a thicker bark, which is their way of protecting themselves from fire.
Some insulation or
Yeah.
something. In March, vegetable gardens, both outdoor and then at the end of March, the indoor gardening segments.
That's right. So we're doing kind of a whole overview of what it's like to do a vegetable garden, from building up your soil and talking about fertilizers to the nitty-gritty of planting, and then how to put your garden to bed. You don't just throw your shovel down at the end of the season and walk away.
As much as you may want to.
There's actually a little work you have to do.
For sure.
So
All of these programs are at Public Works, 100 West Public Works Drive in Shelton. You have a question?
Oh, no, I was just going to see what these are.
Oh, yeah, what did you bring?
What is it?
well, these are called kokedama balls, and
Kokedama.
these are our project. Our last workshop,
Yeah.
we always do a project, and this is going to be our project this year. And in fact, we brought one for you, Jeff.
Oh, wonderful.
And actually, would you like
Yeah, I
one,
would
Jeff?
love one. Thank you.
Okay.
What do we do with this? Where do we hang this?
What you need to do with it is to, about every 8 days or so, put it in water. Just soak the whole thing in water, like put it in a bowl of water, and just let it soak up water. and then you can put it on, put it in a window. I put a hanger
You
on
put a
this
string
one.
on that one.
So you can hang them, or you can.
So
just
can
put
I
them
set it on a plate?
Yes, you
Okay.
can set it on a plate.
This is cool.
Or driftwood or anything.
Anything that's
Something
wouldn't that be
artistic.
pretty?
Yeah.
We're going to try to get a little driftwood.
I'm going to use this as a toupee, I think. This is a nice hair cover.
You're
here.
funny.
Out there.
Look at this.
Very
But
cool.
I just
like
like
it.
to say that this is our project at the end, and 25 people will be able to pre-register for that. It will cost $20, but you get 2 kokodami balls.
And so that will be on the
That'll be on the-
21st one, the March 21st
That'll be on
one.
March 21st.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Erica, Mary, always good to see you. And again, Public Works is where these are, 9 to noon. The first one's this Saturday, $5 at the door. Helps you get through the garden gate for a six great sessions. And each one is the $5 cost from 9 to noon. But 6 great sessions to help kind of green up your thumb a little bit as we move into 2020. Great to see you. And you were saying it was snowing a little on Tumwater Hill, right, when you were coming in?
Yes.
We'll keep our eyes on that one for sure.
Yeah.
Mary, Erica, have a good one.
All right.
Take
Thank
good
you so
care.
much.
Thank you so much, ladies.